Big Rab Show Podcast is kindly sponsored by G1 Reeds. They are the champion's choice, with many bands around the world playing G1 products, providing everything you'd need to hit the circle or the big stage. So, check out g1reeds.com as they keep the lights on here at the Big Rab Show Podcast.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another Big Rab Show podcast. What a weekend that was, eh? Yeah, it's been quite a hectic time in the bagpiping world. We have a lot to talk about. I tell you, we're right in the thick of it right now. Yeah, and of course, one of the biggest news stories to drop this year, the draw for the World Championships has just been published. Yeah! Yes, and we will get into it in this week's pod. I have completely avoided all spoilers. Well, if anything, I did get one spoiler. It's not really a spoiler. I've been told that over 200 bands are entered for this. Now, that's about as far as I know. Now, I've avoided everything. I haven't clicked on the button yet. So you're going to get my real live reaction on this week's pod of the World Championship draw, and I'm looking forward to that. Plus, we have an amazing topic of the week where we delve into everything that happened in Ebrington Square there at the All-Ireland Championships. And there's a lot to unpack there. We will get into all of it, of course. But before we do, yeah, let's get through our introductions then, shall we? If this is your first ever Big Rab Show podcast, then you are welcome. How you doing? We are the show for the bagpiping folk. We reflect everything in the bagpiping world, be it Celtic music, folk music, or indeed our bread and butter, which is competitive piping and drumming. Each and every week we're here talking about what we know and love to be the music of the great Highland bagpipe and its people. And yeah, like every other podcast under the sun, yeah, it's kind of cliche by now, but yes, we do have a Patreon. So if you would like to help support the show and help us continue to do what we're doing, then absolutely click on the link that's in your show notes right now. Go and support us on Patreon and be part of the Patreon faithful. Yeah, we'd love to have you over there because we have a great community on Patreon who are getting treated to loads of extras every week. And yeah, if you do want to get caught up on last night's Fuse FM Ballymoney radio show, that's over there on Patreon right now. You can go and download it, take it with you, and listen at your leisure, which is a 2-hour live radio show every week in your pocket, on demand, I guess. So, and then you can look back at previous shows as well, back through the years at this point. So, yeah, a lot to enjoy there for Patreon faithful. Thank you guys for supporting us. Okay. Which each and every Big Rab show, we do open the door to listener mail, and this week's no different. Now, most of our listener mail is all asking questions about the previous competition at the All-Ireland Championships and asking us about the future competition this weekend, the UK's. Now, we will hopefully answer a lot of your questions about both. A lot of people want to know my thoughts and opinions on everything to do with the All-Irelands, and we've decided to dedicate a full podcast to it, full topic of the week, where we'll delve into every aspect of it. We got that many questions asking my thoughts and opinions, so yeah, we're going to delve into it in a full topic. As for the UK's, yes, we'll do a little bit of a preview for the UK's, and yeah, what we're excited for this upcoming weekend in Edinburgh. It's going to be quite an interesting competition for many different reasons, and we'll delve into all of that. But yes, thank you for everyone who has sent in all sorts of listener mail on those two topics. We do hope our best to address those in this week's show. Yeah. Also, we did get some listener mail that we're planning for future episodes. Let's say that. And those future episodes include our show at Piping Live this year. Yeah, later on in the pod, we're going to be announcing our lineup for the Thursday show at Piping Live. Yeah, we're not only doing one show, which we announced last week, we're doing two. So on this week's show, we're going to announce the lineup. And yeah, we got a bunch of email from people guessing who's going to be appearing there. So I can tell you now, nobody got it right. So, yeah, nobody guessed correctly. So you're about to find out later on in the show who's about to appear at Rab Show Live, our second show at Piping Live. It's going to be a good one. Oh, man. It's going to be good. Anyway, so I hope that kind of addresses listener mail. All of those questions and stuff we will be addressing later on in this week's show. So, yeah, questions, thoughts, queries, all of that really is the lifeblood of the show, genuinely, because that's how most of this week's episode has been formed, from questions and queries from you guys out there in the piping world. And yeah, we try to address everything that you guys send us. So if there's anything you'd like to hear us discuss or talk about on the show, then do email us in bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Yeah. Now, before we get any further, I just wanted to mention our Meet the Band series. I have had a number of people approach me asking about this. And, well, because we're in the thick of the season right now, we're finding time to be of a premium. It's getting quite difficult to actually get time to sit down and talk with bands and hear their stories. So, yeah, that's on me. It's my time as of a premium, but also the bands themselves. So we have put a little bit of a pause on that. As soon as the season kind of wraps up with everything in August, then we do hope to revisit that again, and we hope to meet a lot more pipe bands in future. We do have a good number of them on the shelf already, and you will see some of those come to life now in the next few weeks. We have met quite a number of pipe bands and recorded interviews with them to tell their story, and some of them genuinely fascinating. So, yes, if you do want to hear your band on our Meet the Band kind of segment on the show, then do reach out, contact us, and we will, in future, we will be lining up future dates to get those stories. So email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com, and we will continue to line those up for future episodes of the show. There you are. All right, let's fly on. And yeah, at this point in the show, it's normally when we open the door to Weekly Drone. Now, some people who are just kind of new to the show, it appears, don't know what Weekly Drone is. We mentioned it last week, and yeah, didn't really fully delve into what it is. It's a way that you can send us in your stories, thoughts, and opinions completely anonymous. There's no names, there's no identifying factors at all. And yeah, we have called it Weekly Drone, an open microphone to the bagpiping world. So yeah, if you do want to tell us your story, warts and all, then yeah, send it in to us on Weekly Drone. Now, it could be for some quite uncomfortable listening, or it could be something really positive. So, but either way, we want to know your thoughts on drones. And yeah, we'll delve into it on each and every show. So go to the website, thebigrabshow.com, big red button at the top of the page saying Weekly Drone. And yeah, type us in your story in there, and you can have JD reading out your thoughts. Indeed. Now, one such listener of the pod has done just that. And JD, I believe we have a Weekly Drone on the shelf this week, do we?
It's the Weekly Drone.
Grade 1 judging at the All-Irelands. Hi, Rab. As a spectator, it seemed completely unfair that the judging panel in the medley competition included former FM players, let alone the former pipe major and lead drummer. How can any of the results given be accepted without some form of skepticism? Not to say that these results were not the right ones, but perhaps a different panel of non-affiliated judges would have given a different result. This is in no way a criticism of the judges themselves, more the selectors of these panels, as all performances in the grade were of an exceptionally high standard.
Weekly Droner, do you know what? We have received that question so many times since the All-Ireland Championships wrapped up. Yeah. For those of you who are in the know, of course, and might have been there at the All-Irelands this past weekend, you'll have been very aware that Richard Parts, Keith Orr, and Mark Falloon and others were in that competition circle and judging this past weekend at the All-Irelands. And yes, they are previous Field Marshal Montgomery members. And then, of course, this past weekend, I'm sure by now you're probably aware of it, but the FM Field Marshal managed to lift the All-Ireland Championship this weekend. Now, I do know our Weekly Droner there did say that they weren't trying to cast aspersions on the actual judges themselves, but I think this very question does do that. It calls into question the judges' integrity. And yeah, will they have a bias approach whenever faced with their previous band in the circle? Now, I have to say, this is not just a problem from this past weekend, but has been a problem for many seasons, years and decades down the line. And not just for pipers and drummers, it also does happen with the drum majoring world as well, where, for example, a lot of drum majors who would do a lot of tuition and tutoring and things like that could end up with a clipboard in their hand one day and then find themselves judging possible students of theirs. So there are, connections there too. So this does kind of all boil down to the availability of judges. Now, being a judge is a very specialist job. You need to be very heavily qualified and experienced to be able to stand in there with a clipboard and be able to, make decisions that can make or break someone's weekend. Now, honestly, you do need to have a high degree of integrity. We get that. We've spoke about that numerous times here on the show. And whenever people do call shenanigans like this, it does, in my opinion, it kind of sticks in my craw a bit, because it really does call into question a judge's integrity. Yeah. Now, as for the selection panel and how they put these judging panels together and whether they could have done a better job, that is arguable, I guess. It all depends on who is available for any event that weekend. And other factors come into play. Are they international judges? Will they have to be flown in and put up in a hotel for a night? Or in this case, I believe a lot of those judges are based in Northern Ireland and wouldn't have had such expenses. Yeah. All of which could be a consideration for future championships, trying to keep costs down to a minimum. So trying to employ as many local judges can be a real challenge because that is an even smaller pool than perhaps looking at international judges who need to be flown in. So, the All-Ireland Championships this past weekend, genuinely though, regardless of who the judging panel was, I do believe they got it right. Looking back at all of the performances and stuff on our YouTube channel, you can go and judge for yourself and be your own armchair judge. Now, granted, I'm sure there'll be those out there who will disagree with the results regardless of what we say here on the podcast. And even with my own opinions, everyone has one, So you can draw your own conclusions and you can say to me, hey, Rab, that is absolutely stuff that Rab got wrong. Yeah, so if you do disagree with me and you do think this is stuff that Rab got wrong, then definitely get in touch with this. Email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com. But yeah, Weekly Droner, that was a common topic of discussion last night on Fuse, and it has been bandied around a lot online since Field Marshal's victory, calling the judging into question. And I don't know, I'm not a real supporter of that, to be honest, because then you are really questioning the integrity of the judges that are in there and calling shenanigans and saying, oh, there's a bias there. Of course they're going to give it to Field Marshal. That's their old band. Well, not always the case. Yeah. So I don't know. You can draw your own conclusions, folks, but that's mine. And I would love to know your thoughts on this. And no doubt we will delve more into this topic because, as I said, hasn't just affected the All-Irelands this past weekend and people calling that into question, but it has countless other competitions before this. This has also been the question. Oh, that guy used to play with that band. Obviously, he's going to give them a first place. Well, not always. No. In fact, not ever. The judge bases it on the performance that's presented in front of them 9 times out of 10, in my argument. And, integrity is a vital part of being a judge. And we've talked about that in previous episodes on judging, about that integrity issue. And it is a big one. And I do know that a lot of our judges out there do a lot to cultivate and protect their integrity. So, with that all being said, that's a very long-winded answer to a very complex weekly drone, and you can all draw your own conclusions from that one, but that's my opinions. And you can let me know what you think. Yeah, email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com, or indeed send us in your own weekly drone on the integrity of judging. It's an interesting topic, that, and we probably will visit this again on a full topic and unpack it fully once we have time to kind of let the dust settle from this season. Yeah. So that's a future topic of the week, that one. Thank you, Weekly Droner. As I said, if you do want to send us in your own weekly drone without any identification and all of that, then you can do. Go to our website, thebigrabshow.com, big button at the top of the page, saying weekly drone, and yeah, you can join in the conversation. Judging integrity. That's a real thorny one, that one, isn't it? Yeah, sometimes you have to grasp the nettle, however, and just go for it. So we might do that in a future episode. All right, let's move on. I think it's time for me to go and get a wee cup of tea at this point. Now, this is going to be cup of tea number 1, however possible 2. It's going to be a busy pod this week because, yeah, I'll be right back with all of the news and updates.
Right, folks, I want to tell you about a brilliant new app called MusoLink. It's from Matt Fraser, yeah, the same guy behind the B-flat tuner. And it's all about helping you track your music practice smarter. You can record your sessions using AI, add notes, get reports, and keep yourself accountable. But what really makes it stand out is the social side. It's like Strava for pipers. You can follow your mates, give them kudos, leave comments, and stay motivated together. Loads of bands are already on board, including Scots College, Hawthorne, and loads of others who are making big moves. So, if you're prepping for this year's World Championships or just want to get better, search for MusoLink on the App Store now. And once you're there, why not give the Big Rab Show a follow and we can push each other over the line. Do you wish piping could be fun again? Bagpipers around the world continue to struggle with their instrument, despite hours of hard work trying to get better. Bagpiping should be fulfilling. Your hard work should pay off, showing improvement and the freedom to express yourself musically. Or why do it? The Dojo University believe every piper should be able to free themselves from musical frustration, proven over more than a decade of successful teaching and accessible anywhere with an internet connection. The Dojo is unlike any other bagpipe learning experience in the world. Let the Dojo channel your enthusiasm into a fun and fulfilling program that will empower you with the knowledge to fall in love with piping all over again. So go to dojouniversity.com/Big Rab and take advantage of our 30-day free trial of Dojo Premium membership. Join the global community of students today and rediscover the fun of bagpiping. dojouniversity.com/Big Rab for a 30-day free trial.
Okay, time for the news and updates. And we have a lot to get into, of course, with the World Championship draw. That button's sitting right in front of me right now. It's very tempting to press it, but I'm not going to. Let's start, first of all, with the news story from Johnstone Pipe Band. Yes, I'm not sure if you've seen this or not, but it did kind of sneak under the radar. Yeah, Gavin Orr, the lead tipper of Johnstone Pipe Band, will be stepping down at the end of the season. Yes, there was an announcement posted on their socials. Yeah, basically explaining that Gavin has made the decision to step away. Now, he is obviously going to be fully committed to his role all the way through until the end of the season. And, yeah, they're aiming for a smooth and professional transition to whoever will be taking up the role. Yes, and that kind of brings me on to the most interesting point of this. Well, number one, Gavin has been there and established himself quite a lot at Johnstone and has a fantastic drum corps there. And yeah, they've had some blistering performances over the years. And so it's really kind of bitter to see him go, to be honest. And this could have a big fundamental change for the voice of Johnstone Pipe Band. We've seen it happen before. But yeah, where that voice will be changing and who will be shaping it, that's the interesting part, isn't it? So the band is now inviting applications from experienced and motivated drummers who are ready to take on quite a pivotal leadership role in a very highly competitive and forward-thinking pipe band. I'm reading from the press release right now. So if you are anyways curious and would like to apply, well, the pipe band would like you to submit your CV to the pipe major, Donald McKay, of course. And the email address is pipemajor.jpb@outlook.com. There you are. For full details, of course, you can go and check Johnstone Pipe Band on their socials. And yeah, that full story is up there, along with statements from Gavin himself and the pipe major, Donald, as well. So yeah, it's as I said, it is kind of bittersweet. It is quite bitter that we're seeing Gavin go, because some of the music he's produced over the years just been amazing at Johnstone. But it is also kind of sweet, and it's we're looking forward to seeing a brand new voice there at Johnstone. That's exciting. So yeah, we'll keep across this story, of course, and once someone does get appointed to that role, we'll certainly share that out there with you guys. So there you go. Go and check out Johnstone Pipe Band on their socials for that full story and details on where you can send in your application if you're anyways curious. There you are. Shout out to Johnstone. Okay, I'm going to briefly mention the Force Drum Major display team, who are now back home on home soil after their trip to the Royal Nova Scotia International Tattoo. Yes, now the reason I'm giving them a shout this week is, of course, they have just recently published, just today actually, a full video of their display at the tattoo. And it is fantastic. All right. Now, I don't know. I've been kind of a bit of a drum majoring fan this last year or so. Yeah, this past couple of seasons, I've been really getting into the drum majoring world. And the Force, bringing drum majoring to the masses like this. And yes, we're not, parading lengths and everything and getting marked for our dress. But it's still such an exciting way to showcase drum majoring on a global scale. And seeing them at a huge tattoo like this, and it's just fantastic. So, yeah, shout out to the Force. If you haven't seen their video yet, do go and check it out on the Force Drum Major Display Team's YouTube channel. Their Royal Nova Scotia International Tattoo video is up there now. It's very enjoyable. Talk about synchronized. I don't quite know how they do it, to be honest. Like, that was quite a huge floor to kind of fill with drum majors, but they managed to do it. And, yeah, flourishing and throwing and catching all in unison. It's quite impressive to watch. So go and check it out. Shout out to the Force. Back on home soil, indeed. Yeah. Okay. Another little news story that I didn't mention on last week's podcast, but I'm going to mention it in this week's pod. All right. Now, this is going to get me into shameless plug territory. And I know a lot of people get annoyed when I do that. But yeah, you might have seen that Pipes and Drums has returned to BBC Radio Ulster. But this time, there's a new voice sitting in the chair. It's me. Yeah. I'll be standing in for a little while on Pipes and Drums, and yeah, I'll be presenting the Pipes and Drums show on Radio Ulster for a while anyway. Yeah, so I don't know. If you haven't caught the first episode of the new season, that happened on Sunday. Yeah, so that's now available on the BBC Sounds app, of course, if you're living in the UK. Or, of course, you can check out the Big Rab Show on social media. We've shared out that link all over the place. Yeah, Pipes and Drums is really, honestly, quite an iconic radio show. It's been going for a long time, and if anything, it's kind of responsible for getting me into the radio world. I was a huge admirer of Tommy Miller, the Kilted Runner, and I'm sure a lot of people will remember Tommy. And yeah, I really genuinely looked up to him, and his show was, honestly, it was nearly a religion in our house. Every Sunday, the radio had to get put on, Pipes and Drums. That was just one of those things. You raced home for it sometimes to get the radio on in the kitchen. Let's get Pipes and Drums on. We sat down with a cup of tea and just listened to Tommy. And it happened every week. And now that Mark Wilson was at the helm, the show just seemed to be going ding dust. And yeah, it was fantastic. So to get the opportunity to stand in temporarily for a little while at Pipes and Drums, honestly, was an honor. And I was absolutely blown away. Being able to say those words, welcome to Pipes and Drums, it was just incredible. The moment was not lost on me. And even now, still, I'm pinching myself that my name is even associated with that show at all. So a huge honor and a privilege for me to be able to step in and, yeah, keep the wheel turning there at Pipes and Drums. It was just incredible. So if you haven't heard it yet, you can do. Go over there to BBC Sounds, look for Pipes and Drums. And yeah, we did thump out some big tunes over there. Absolutely. It was brilliant to have some piping and drumming on Radio Ulster back again. And yeah, now for those of you who listen to the Rab Show and Fuse, all right, this is completely different. It is a BBC show. So it's a little bit more straight-laced, okay? And it's certainly not going to be what you're getting here on the podcast, or you know what I mean? So yeah, just fantastic. It is an institution, and it is a big deal to be a part of that, and that is not lost on me. The gravity of this, it's just, I don't know, it's a real bucket list item for me. From listening to this show from when I was a toddler to now, sitting in the hot seat and thumping out tunes on Radio Ulster as a dream come true. So, yeah, go and check it out. It's up on BBC Sounds, and enjoy. Let us know what you think of Pipes and Drums with yours truly behind the mic. Go and check it out. I know, I told you, it's going to be a shameless plug. All right, let's move on. All right, I'm going to give another little mention to Emma Barr, drum major Emma Barr, who's going to be travelling to the Glengarry Highland Games in Maxville. Yes, August 1st and 2nd. Now, not only will she be there competing at it, but she will also, she'll be doing all sorts of little workshops and things like that as well. Yeah, teaching everybody all sorts of great drum majoring skills. And for all of that detail, go along to the GlengarryHighlandGames.com and follow all the links and everything for those workshops with Emma. So that's brilliant. You'll learn things such as marching, drill, flourishing, uniform discipline, and all sorts of musicality that, believe it or not, drum majors are... Yeah, they're so musical. So go and check it out. August 1st and 2nd, of course, the Glengarry Highland Games in Maxville. That's going to be exciting. So yeah, best wishes to Emma. That's very exciting there. There you go. All right, seeing how we're in shameless plug territory, I think it's time for another one. Let's give a mention this week to the Queen Elizabeth Pipe Band. Yes, they issued a save the date on their socials not too long ago, and announcing an upcoming concert on Saturday, the 11th of October. So get that date in your diary. If anything, I kind of missed that feature, the dates for your diary. Should we bring that back again? I don't know. It was always kind of a pain to put it together, but it was definitely worthwhile. I know people did use it. I don't know. Let us know. bigrabshow@gmail.com. But yeah, shout out to the Queen Elizabeth, who, their last concert that they held last year genuinely was a fantastic night filled with all sorts of great music and crack, and it was brilliant to be a part of it, if anything. So, they will be announcing more of the lineup, obviously, as the date gets closer, but for now, they are asking you that if you do want to get tickets, just to keep your eyes peeled. They're not available just yet, but they will be very soon, and they can be available from any band member or through their social media, of course, Queen Elizabeth Pipe Band. So again, that date for their upcoming concert, the 11th of October. There you are. Okay, I do want to mention this week about two Grade 1 big guns who have released something really quite exciting. Now, I love a bit of merch like the next person, all right? But we're kind of spoiled for choice right now. I have to first of all mention Inveraray District. Have you seen their 20th anniversary merchandise with the brand new logo with the 20 worked in along with the Celtic knot and everything? They're amazing and really do look beautiful, and shirts and everything. Very, very cool. I love the new logo. But on top of that, they've released a whole dose of other stuff. All sort of redesigned, funky t-shirts, and there's way too many for me to mention here, okay? And I know I'm going to be doing visual things on a podcast, but you should go check them out for yourself. All the different logos and design language that Inveraray District have been using on their brand new merch. It's really fashionable. And if anything, I'm very tempted to pick up some of these shirts. So some of the grey ones is fantastic. Anyway, I'm looking at the page of them right now, and I'm very tempted to click buy now. Anyway, so shout out to Inveraray District and their brand new merchandise line. Go and check it out. It's all the links and everything are available on their website, and there's a lot to enjoy there. I dare say there'll be a lot of people rocking Inveraray merch this season. That's very, very cool. But not only are Inveraray releasing new merch, we have to mention Shots as well. Whoa, did you see this? Oh, man. Yeah, well, obviously, their big Solus concert is coming up, right? Now, we all know about it, and I'm sure by now, probably a good lot of you listening right now have already got your tickets for it and can't wait to go through the door of the concert hall. I'm one of them. But have you seen the merchandise? Oh, baby, I don't know who designs these things, but man, does it look cool. Right, I want a Solus hat, I want a hoodie, a t-shirt. It's all gold. Man, see, whenever I seen this announcement, I thought it was fake. I thought, no, that can't be real. That's done by like a graphic designer who's throwing up online, here's my ideas of what I think it could look like, right? But no, definitely not. This is real. If anything, I have my eye on a couple of the t-shirts, the little 3/4 zip thing, cool. Even the tote bag. everything here that has Solus branding on it from Shots just looks class. All right, go and check it out. Shout out to Shots. Whoever done your design work for this honestly deserves a massive pat on the back. These are so cool. So, yeah, you will definitely see me with some Solus merch for the rest of the season as soon as I can get my hands on them. Yeah. So, yeah, shout out to Shots and to Inverary, both releasing brand new merch. That's really exciting stuff. Ooh, speaking of merch, by the way, I know this does bring me into another shameless plug, but ourselves in the Big Rab Show here, we have not sold merchandise from our podcast for ages. Now, we have been promising that we will release another line of Rab Show merch, and that has been a few years ago now. I know. Yeah, we have been, I don't know, just real busy putting the show together, to be honest, to be able to spend time and put merch together. But we do want to kind of throw out the question that if you folks would like to see some Big Rab Show merchandise, then yeah, let us know. It's been a wee while since we've sold t-shirts and hoodies and towels and water bottles and things like that. It's been a long time, actually. So yeah, would you like to see some Big Rab Show merchandise? Please let us know. bigrabshow@gmail.com. We'll do our best. You know, if there's interest out there and there's people who would like to buy some Rab Show merch, then hi, we'll do our best to make it possible. So yeah, that kind of inspired us, you know, seeing Inverary doing this and then Shots. But it's been a while since Rab Show's done this. So yeah, maybe we should jump on the bandwagon too, you know? Anyway, so if you would like a t-shirt with "time for a big cup of tea" on it, or stuff that Rab got wrong. I don't know, could we make a t-shirt out of that? I don't know, that could be fun. But yeah, if you are anyways curious and would be interested in getting that kind of stuff, then email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Yeah, who knows, we might make it possible. We'll certainly look into it anyway. All right, let's move on. Okay, let's talk about this weekend's major championship. Now, normally, we'd be absolutely buzzing for this, okay? The UK Championships would normally be the kickoff of all of our majors of the season. Now, we've already talked about why perhaps we're not as excited as we should be. Yeah, the draw for this competition, the numbers are incredibly low. And yeah, we've spoken about the date, of course, and the reason why the draw might be low for this. The 12th of July is quite a significant holiday here in Northern Ireland, and we're not going to get into the old political connotations of it all, but it is important to a lot of people here. And as a result, yeah, as we've seen, I think there's practically zero bands travelling from Northern Ireland to Edinburgh to compete at the UK Championships. Yeah, so that is disappointing, I guess, but it is all due to the date on which it was arranged. However, there are still bands entered of getting ready to compete at this weekend's UK Championship. So let's talk about it. Now, as I said, the entry for this competition is really quite disappointing. Yeah, and we've spoken about this in previous podcasts, but I do want to stress, having low numbers is better than having no numbers at all. And this is the point I want to put across in this week's pod. Yes, the UK's is kind of going to be a much quieter affair than what we were used to with the UK Championships. Yeah, but I'm still glad that the UK Championships are happening at all. Yeah, because for a long time, it was really a struggle to try and find a possible venue that would actually host the UK Championships. So, yeah, they had a venue. They didn't have a date that suited everybody, but, yeah, a competition is better than no competition, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's a bit of a damp squib whenever it comes to the excitement factor because there just isn't that many bands entered for it. However, it is still the first major in our calendar and definitely worthy of note to find out who'll come out on top as UK champion. Yeah, especially with some big grades in there, like grade 3A, for example, with 17 in there. It's going to be fiercely hard fought, I would argue. And even in the ridiculous grade in grade 2, there's many big names in there that could definitely thump out a tune. We're very curious to see where the prizes are going to fall once they're announced later on that day. Yeah. And even in the middle of the mix there, some international bands from Australia and from the United States. So, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting weekend for piping and drumming. Yeah. Now, of course, we do have a complement of drum majors who are entered for this as well. And I'm not going to delve in through all that detail. But, yeah, there are entries for the junior, juvenile, and adult drum majors. So good luck to everyone there who will be competing at the UK's. Best of luck to you. As for filming, videoing, live streaming, all that kind of stuff, we have got so many questions and requests from people on this side of the Irish Sea who are not travelling to the UK's and asking, "Hey, Rab, are you going to be filming that bike? Because we want to see what's going on." Yes, is the answer to that question. Of course, we do have people over there. A part of our Scotland correspondents will be over there doing their best to capture everything that moves. Now, again, I have to stress, ourselves and the Big Rab Show team, we're competitors. And on the day of the competition, we're going to be incredibly busy. Yeah, they're going to be in the circle trying to compete and win prizes with their own pipe band. So we will do what we can. All right. Now, there's going to be no promises. We've done our best to kind of film everything so far this season on this side of the water. But whenever it comes to Scotland as well, we have challenges and time is one of them. So we're going to do what we can. All right, that's the best we can do. So, yes, we've had tons of requests in for this band, that band, the other band. Can you please film it? You know, my nephew, my niece, my son, my daughter, all of that. We've done our best to make a list of all the bands that we're going to try and capture on the day. As you know, in a major championship, there's multiple different arenas running all at the same time, and it can be quite challenging to be in 5 different places at once. And, yeah, we're going to do our best to capture every moment of it. All right, so no promises, folks. We do have a bit of a hit list of who we really want to try and capture, which is basically everybody. But yeah, we'll do our best to film those performances as we catch them, and they will be uploaded to our YouTube channel in the best possible quality. There you are. Also, I do have to mention that we will be live streaming the results this weekend. So if you do want to see who won what at the UK's this weekend, then do be following us there over on our Big Rab Show Facebook page, where we will be live that evening. Now, that's the guarantee that I'm going to say. All right. Now, we can't guarantee that we'll capture your band's performance, but we can definitely guarantee that we will be live streaming, or at least the best way possible, depending on cell phone signal, the results from the UK Championships. There you are. So do be following us there on our Facebook page, and you'll be kept up to date with all of that as it happens live in the park. There you are. All right, so that's the UK Championships. Yes, I know we're not just quite as excited about it as we should be, but it is what it is. Yeah. Good luck to everyone who's going to be in that circle this weekend. It's going to be a very interesting weekend's competition for sure. Yeah. And we'll unpack it all on next week's pod as we get through all the results. And, yeah, we'll get the feeling from the park as to what the event was actually like, what the venue was like, and what the atmosphere was like. Oh, and how much it was for a burger and a pint. There you go. All right, let's move on. Okay, I think you've waited long enough for this announcement. And I know a lot of people are deliberately tuning into the podcast this week to hear this, okay? So thank you for bearing with us. It's time to announce who's going to be appearing at Big Rab Show Live at Pipin' Live on Thursday the 14th. Yes, we're going to be doing not one, but 2 shows at Pipin' Live this year. And man, I can't wait for it. So in case you missed the announcement that happened last week, let's briefly go through that. That's our first show at Pipin' Live, which is on the 13th of August at the National Piping Centre in the Bothy tent, as they're calling it. Yes. We have Ross Miller joining us. We have Anna Smart and the Simon Fraser University Pipe Band. Whoa! Are you kidding me? Yeah. Unbelievable. So, yeah, we announced that on last week's pod, and so many people told me, is that a joke? Genuinely, is that a joke? No, it's not. So it's actually happening. Yeah, Ross Miller, Anna Smart, and the Simon Fraser University. Wow. So that's on the Wednesday. But let's get into the Thursday. The whole reason a lot of you are tuning in right now. It's finally time to announce the Thursday. It seems to be we've been arranging these shows for a long time now. All right, stop. Let's get into it, Rab. Okay, the first act that will be appearing at Rab Show Live at Pipin' Live on the Thursday will be John Dew. Yes, John Dew, of course, who will be hot off the release of his brand new album, Nakash Madan. Yes, all original album with exploring the march medium. Brilliant stuff. So yeah, John's going to join us for a tune or two on the day, and a bit of a chat and a bit of crack with us on the day as well. Yeah, so looking forward to having John on the show. Now, we've had John on previous Big Rab shows, and he's always ripped up the stage, man. Like, seriously, the tune that John can produce in front of an audience, man, is just insane. So yeah, we're very excited to see John at Piping Live this year, at Big Rab Show Live. Looking forward to that. Now, not only John Dew, but we have another announcement to make, and this one's going to take a bit of explaining to do. But also appearing at Big Rab Show Live at Piping Live on Thursday the 14th is the Big Rab Show Pipe Band. Yeah. Oh, no, I don't know quite how this is going to work, okay, because we're still working on it. But yeah, we thought ourselves, all of us in the Rab Show team, we're all pipers, drummers, drum majors. We're all in the scene. We're all competitors, right? So we thought, well, at Piping Live, why don't we form our own, like, kind of masked band? And all of us gather together in the Rab Show team and have a tune at Piping Live. So we're hoping that you can join in the fun or the possible car crash that it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to go, but yeah, it's going to be fun. So the Big Rab Show Pipe Band will be there live at Piping Live, and we expect it to be a lot of fun, actually. Yeah, we did do this once before, but it was over the course of the pandemic. Remember when everyone used to sit in the house and, you know, they play tunes into a camera, and then all of that video gets put together, and it's kind of like a de facto pipe band, for example. Yeah. Well, we done one of those over the pandemic, and it worked out quite well, you know? Well, this time round, we decided, well, why not do it for real? Yeah, so we've got some really talented musicians on our Rab Show team, and yeah, some not so much myself. So, yeah. We're about to get into it. Big Rab Show Pipe Band live at Piping Live. No pressure. Only the biggest piping festival in the world, and we're going to be playing tunes at it. Yikes. Now, we're not done. You might be counting. Yes, we had 3 acts for our Wednesday show, and yes, we have 3 acts for our Thursday show. Now, who do you think it could be? Our crowning act for the Thursday? Yeah, now this one's been up for speculation. So many people have been guessing about this and getting it dreadfully wrong. But this is such a huge moment, and I can't milk it enough. Joining us on the 14th of August at Big Rab Show Live at Piping Live, we have possibly one of the biggest names in the piping game right now. Joining us is Cameron Barnes. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Cammy Barnes is going to be joining us. Now, this man recently just signed a huge record deal with Universal Records. All right. Now, this guy is on the way to the moon as far as it comes to, you know, pop star stardom, really. And genuinely, I had to pinch myself whenever we again secured that booking. I dropped Cammy a message. Cammy's been on the show here before. We've talked to him many times on the podcast before. But yeah, we asked him, hey, do you think you could come along and maybe sing a few of your songs or maybe play pipes or something or join us for a chat at Rab Show Live? And it was an instant, yeah, of course, yes. So we're like, what? So yeah, joining us at Piping Live on the 14th. Man, I'm still pinching myself. We have Cammy Barnes, or Cameron Barnes. Man, I just don't know where to go from there. Wow. So, yes, you will have to put up with the Big Rab Show Pipe Band commiserations, but trust me, it's going to be worth the wait whenever Cameron hits the stage. Oh, man. Seriously can't wait for that. So, yeah, to be graced on the stage by a proper rock star of the bagpiping world genuinely is going to be so exciting. So we hope that you folks can join us for Big Rab Show Live at Piping Live. Again, to answer all your questions, Yes, you do need to get tickets for it. You do need to go to pipinglive.co.uk and grab your tickets. If you do want to get access to everything that's happening there at the National Piping Centre. The whole thing is cordoned off. You will need to get a ticket to get through the gate. But once you're there, then you'll be treated to everything that's there. There's not only us and Rab Show Live, of course, in the Bothy tent, but there's loads more other stuff happening. There's a main stage with acts throughout the day. And come on, there's way too much for even me having a list here. And so, yeah. Go and grab your tickets now. Pre-order them and avoid disappointment. Pipinglive.co.uk. And our live events, Big Rab Show Live at Pipin Live, is on the 13th and 14th of August. And yeah, that's our lineup. That's exciting, isn't it? So yeah, I still can't believe it. Cammy Barnes on the Thursday. That's going to be epic right there. I'm really, really super looking forward to that. Now, to answer questions as well, people were asking after last week's announcement, will we be recording these episodes for future episodes of the podcast? The answer to that, yes, we will be. It'll all be recorded live and will be presented as a future episode of the podcast. And we've done that before where we do record each live show and we do present that later on. So, but if you do want to actually be there in person, see it happen in front of your eyes and not have to wait 4 or 5 weeks or however long it takes for us to put it together, then, be there. Exactly. So, yeah, go and get your tickets. pipinglive.co.uk. And, of course, if you do want to be supporting us over there on Patreon, you might be privy to a few little juicy extras over there that we have planned for you. Oh, that's all I'm going to say. But, yeah, there will be some exclusive kind of stuff for Patreon fans from our Pipin Live shows. There you go. A lot to enjoy there. So there you go. The cat is now well and truly out of the bag. We have announced all of our lineup for both the Wednesday and the Thursday. And, the Big Rab Show Pipe Band, I don't know how successful that's going to be. I guess we'll all find out together, won't we? But, yeah, on the Thursday, having John Dew joining us on stage. Man, that's going to be insane. I'm really looking forward to that. And, of course, Cammy. Man, what a day. What a day. And then we have the Worlds then, Friday and Saturday. What's not to love? There you go. All right. Speaking of the World Championships, I have been looking at this button for way too long. It's finally time for me to go and finally click on this bad boy. Right. The draw for the World Pipe Band Championships. Let's get into it. Okay. So I have lined up the button right in front of me. Now, whenever I record the podcast, I do normally have 2 screens going. Number one is the screen where I monitor my recording to make sure that you can hear me. And then on my second screen, I have various websites and notes and things that I have taken for my show notes. And I need to shrink that down. And World Championship draw, Friday and Saturday. Here we go. All right. I have it here now in front of me. I am going to click on the button. Now, genuinely, folks, this is my real reaction. Now, I know people kind of say, oh, you faked it, Rob. You've read it before. No, I haven't. This is real. I've deliberately told all of the Big Rab Show team who've already read it, by the way. I've told them no spoilers. Don't tell me what's happening. And a lot of the team are actually interested to hear what my opinions are. So I don't know if that's good or bad. All right, let's get into it. I think one of the interesting elements of this that I'm very curious about is how the Friday's going to work. Yeah. You know, with this World Youth Championship thing. Right. Enough of kind of all the speculation and stuff. Let's get into it. Let's click the button. Oh, hold on. Right. I'm going to need stronger glasses. It's really tiny. Let me zoom in. All right. World Championship Friday, 15th of August in Glasgow. Yeah. Let's get into it, boy. All right. So this is the Friday then. Novice Juvenile B, 15 bands. There you go. That's quite healthy. Okay. Good start. Excellent. So Novice Juvenile B, Heat 1, which, they've split it into heats. How many bands in total? 30. Ooh. In fact, that's really healthy then. There you go. An even split, 15 in each group. Good stuff. Okay. So the Friday's going to be quite busy. So let's see. Band number 1 in Novice B. Hold on. Is that right? Okay. Someone playing tricks. Hold on. This is the Friday. And the first band's on at 3 o'clock? Okay. All right. Let's go on. All right. Novice Juvenile B. First band at 3:05 in the afternoon. We have Balerno and District Schools Pipe Band. There you go. We have Hutchison's Grammar School. Yes, I believe it is Dan Evans' band. There you go, I was right. We have Lochgilly High School Junior. We have Kintyre Schools, Lewis and Harris Youth. We have the Scots College from Sydney. Yes, good to see them from Australia. Good stuff. We have Gordon Schools. We have St. John's College, Harare from Zimbabwe. Excellent. We have St. Columba's School, Kilmacombe. Excellent. Falkirk Schools, Renfrewshire Schools Development Band. The Glasgow Academy. Glasgow Academy. I don't know much about that. Oh, wait a minute. Pipe Major John Dew. There you go. I don't know much about the Glasgow Academy. Keen to learn more. I'll have to ask John about that. We have the Isle of Arran Music School. Yes. We have Tynecastle Youth Community Pipe Band. And we have Dunoon Grammar. Yes, there you are. So that's your 15 bands in Heat 1. But yeah, that starts at 3 o'clock and ends at 4:45 in the afternoon. Okay. All right, starting with Novice Juvenile B then, and their Heat number 2. Yes. We have Stirling and District Schools Junior, Scots College from New Zealand. Good stuff. Dollar Academy. We have the High School of Dundee. Seagal Linakelt. Yes. We have Burnt Island and District. Edinburgh Academy. Oban High School. Scots College number 2 from Australia. There you are. Bucksburn and District Novice. Falkirk Schools, 25. And the High School of Glasgow. Uplanders Pipe Band. Uplanders Pipe Band? I don't think I know them now. Yeah, I'm going to write that name down too. Don't know much about them. So then we have the West Lothian Schools and North Lanarkshire Schools. And that's your Novice Juvenile B. There you are. And then it says here, Novice Juvenile B final commences at 17:30. What? Wait, hold on a minute. Right, okay. Am I reading this wrong? No, I'm not cutting this out. I'm keeping this all in because if I'm confused, other people's are confused too. So, but yeah, this starts at 3 o'clock. Both heats start at 2 o'clock. Not 3 o'clock, sorry. Both heats start at 3, roll all the way through to about 4:45, and then the final starts at 5:30 for Novice B. Okay, I'm confused now. That's really late. When are they running Novice A? All right, scroll down the page, Rob, and you'll find out, sir. All right, Novice Juvenile A. Okay, just the one heat then. We have 14 bands in here in total, starting with the Scots College in Australia. Good stuff. Lochgilly High School, George Heriot's 935. St. Columba's School, Kilmacombe. We have High School of Dundee. Brisbane Boys College from Australia. Good stuff. We have St. John's College from Zimbabwe. Excellent. We have North Lanarkshire Schools, West Lothian Schools, George Watson's College, 369, Oban High School, Dollar Academy, 990, Peoplesford, Boghall and Bathgate, and Preston Lodge High School Pipe Band, who are on at 7:05 in the evening. Hold on. Come on. Right. Now, am I reading that right? Novice Juvenile A starts at 5:20 in the evening and runs through to after 7 o'clock at night. And that's your Novice A. What's going on? Are those times right? Or is this... Stuff the Rab got wrong. Okay, this is the Friday, isn't it? It is, it's the Friday. I'm definitely looking at the Friday. Okay, genuinely, folks, this is my real reaction. I'm thinking those times, why are they running so late? Wow, at 7:05 in the evening, Preston Lodge will be on the circle. And I know a lot of people will be up the town getting their dinner at that time. Wow, that's late. Okay, I'm sure there's reasons for it. Anyway, let's move on. We also have juvenile competition to enjoy that day, and that starts late as well. That starts at 3:30 in the evening. We have Dollar Academy, Renfrewshire Schools, Preston Lodge High School, George Heriot Schools, and George Watson's College. There you are. So that's your juvenile grade. 5 bands in total. Kind of the usual 5 that we're used to seeing in the juvenile grade. I'm really confused about the timing. Okay, right, move on. Okay, we're into grade 1 now. Okay, 14 bands. Yes, now we're talking. Yes, sir. 14 bands in here at the Worlds. Good stuff for grade 1. Looking forward to this. All right, looking at grade 1 MSR, we have Manawatu kicking things off at 9:30 in the morning. Good stuff. All right, normal service has been resumed. Then we have Shots and Dyke, Caledonia. Yes, Scottish Power, Police Scotland Fife, Closkelt, Johnstone, Inverary, St. Thomas Alumni from the US. Then we have the 78th Fraser Highlanders. Good stuff. We have St. Lawrence O'Toole, People's Ford, Bogong and Bathgate, Caledonia, Simon Fraser University, Field Marshal, and Rivara. That's our 14 big guns in there. There you go. So, yeah, quite impressive. Not a bad grade there. Moving on to the medley selection on the Friday, we have kicking things off the same order, I believe. Isn't that right? Yeah, it is. The same order. Manawatu, Shots, Par, Fife, Closkelt, Johnstone, Inverary, St. Thomas, 78th, St. Lawrence, Boggies, SFU, FM, and Rivara. That's the abbreviated version. There you go. But that's your Grade 1 competition. And for all intents and purposes, Grade 1 on the Friday finishes at 2 o'clock. Okay? And then there's like an hour of standing around, an hour gap, and then the Novice B competition kicks off, along with the Juvenile competition as well later on. That's so strange to have those times so late in the day. Now, there has to be a reason for that. Now, someone out there, please tell me what the reason is. I have no idea. But surely they could have ran these grades at the same time. Or well, to be fair, I did mention earlier that Dan Evans is over the Hutchison's Grammar School, and he can't really tick them into the circle when he's competing with Shots. Same for John Dew and his band, the Glasgow Academy. So maybe that's the case here. There's a lot of their pipe majors who will be competing in Grade 1, and then they'll get the opportunity to, go and change uniforms and then get their own band ready to hit the circle in an hour's time later. Maybe that's the crack here. That's what's happening? Have I figured this out as I've done my live reaction? Perhaps I have. There you go. See, I do have some brains in here after all sometimes. I don't know. Anyway, live reaction. It's real, folks. But yeah, that's really late. To kick things off at the very first band in the park, kicking things off at 9 a.m. in the morning, and then the last band, 7 p.m. that night. Wow. Okay. There you are. That's going to be a mighty long day on the Friday. Ah, well. Let's move on to the Saturday. Scrolling down. All right. Starting with Grade 4B. What have we got? All right. Heat number 1, 23 bands. Okay. All right. How many heats have we got? We have 1 heat, 2 heats. We have 2 heats. All right. In 4B, and we have 45 bands in total. 45 bands. Yikes. That's a lot. Okay. Let's get into the details then, shall we? Grade 4B, Heat 1. People's ex-servicemen's kicking things off at 9 a.m. 9:08, Tullylagan. Oh! Okay. Hey, that's going to be an early start for me that morning then. Whoa! Okay. So that's an early start for Rab on the Saturday. 9:08 a.m. Yikes. I'll be in the circle. Okay. I may start blowing my pipes early in the morning now and getting used to it. That's an early draw for Tullylagan and for People's ex-servicemen too. There you go. Moving on, the rest of the grade in 4B, we have Nottinghamshire Pipes and Drums. Yes, City of Plymouth, Barhead and District, the Fredericton Society of St Andrews from Canada. Good stuff. We have the City of Discovery, Irvine and District, Queensferry Pipe Band, Pennewick and District, Arbroath, the City of Aberdeen, the Sons of Scotland from Canada coming across. Brilliant. Shout out to their pipe major, Bethany. Yeah, great stuff. Really looking forward to seeing them. Good friends there. We have the City of St Andrews Pipe Band. Yes. Donatar Pipes and Drums. Carrigaline. Yes. Down Academy. St Anthony's High School from the United States. Oh, yeah, good stuff. We have Dunoon Argyll, Breedy Ulster Scots. Here's a band name that I can't pronounce. Ballymore Dallanach Pipe Band. I've done my best. Ellenland District RBL and the Queen Elizabeth Pipe Band. Yeah, and that's all heat number 1. And there's a lot of big names in there, folks. Ooh, that's going to be competitive right there. Out of those 23 bands, yeah, that's tough. All right, good luck, everyone. That's going to be a very tough heat there in 4B. Moving on to heat number 2 then. We have the Royal Air Force of Oman. Excellent stuff. Dumbarton and District are next, followed by Dumfries. And we have the City of Inverness. Then we have Ballarat Grammar from Australia. Good stuff. Then we have Paisley and District, RBL, the Y'all Pipe Band, St. Anne's of Hampton, pipes and drums from the United States. There you are. Good to see them. And we have Talcott Mountain Highlanders, to give them the full title. Yes, we have Kilbarkin, Granite City, Letterkenny and District, Reading Scottish are there. Yes. We have the Catamount Pipe Band from the US. Go on, the Catamount. Woohoo! Good stuff. We have Kilsyth Thistle, the Vienna Pipes and Drums from Austria. Ooh, they're good. I have heard them. Yes, I'll be looking forward to seeing them. We have the Durham Regional Police Pipes and Drums from Canada. Excellent. We also have Helensburgh Clan Clonalquin as well. Hey, good stuff. Along with the Scotch Watch from Switzerland. Another great band. Uddingston Strathclyde, their 4B bands. MacDonald Memorial, yes. And the City of Brechin. Again, that's another tough group there. Wow, okay. 45 bands in total and only one world champion. Good luck, everyone, there in 4B. That's not going to be an easy task. Best of luck, everyone. All right, moving on to Grade 4A then. I'm going to very briefly scan down. How many heats have we got? 2 heats for 4A. Okay. Looking at heat number 1, we have Coulter and District, followed by Perth and District. The Black Raven, good stuff. Sons of Holy Land and District are backed again. Yes, good stuff. Exciting to see them. We have Strathendrick, yes. Grantia. We have the Marumba Pipes and Drum Society of Australia. Yes, and I do remember reading their name out in previous competitions. It's going to be exciting to see them. Yes, we have the RAF Central Scotland Pipes and Drums. Yes, and then we have the Ratai Pipe Band. Yes, Denny and Dunnipace Association, Stockbridge, and Thiepville Memorial. There you go. Now, all of these grades, by the way, are all starting at 9 a.m. So it's going to be an early start for all of these bands that I'm just mentioning here. There you go. So that's, again, another very tough grade there with a lot of big names in the mix there. You know, bands that I'm particularly excited to see, of course, Sons of Holy Land. I haven't seen them possibly in over a year now at this point. So, yeah, exciting to see them. We also have Grantia in the mix there, Denny and Dunnipace, Stockbridge, even Thiepville as well. Can definitely thump a good tune. And that RAF Central Scotland band too. Ooh. Yeah, there's a lot there to enjoy in 4A. Good stuff. Moving on to Heat 2 in 4A, then we have New Ross and District, Kirkcaldy and District, Troon Blackrock, Altnavay Memorial, William Wood, Northwest Junior making the trip from the United States. Good stuff. We have Cullen, yes. Cawtown, yes. Vale of Athol. We have the RAF Lossiemouth Pipe Band, yes. Followed by Govan Community and the East Ayrshire Caledonia Pipe Band. Yeah. Now, where do I see it? I don't know. That's anyone's guess. Both of those groups, very competitive. Is there one group worse than another? I don't know. I think they're both kind of equal, to be honest. Both are going to be equally challenging right there. A lot of big names in both groups. So who'll make it through the final? No idea, to be honest. It's anyone's. But yeah, we'll do our best to kind of do that in our World's Prediction podcast. That'll be released later this year. Anyway, well, let's get into that. Let's look at Grade 3B. Now, I'm hoping for a good entry of bands here in 3B. How many heats have we got? 2. Okay, all right, okay, heats. Let's move on. Kicking things off at 9 a.m. in Grade 3B, we have Prince Charles from the United States. An early start for the Prince Charles Band. There you go. Followed by Elgin and District. Yes. Then we have Fraserburgh, RBL. Oh, and then we have Carnegie Mellon. Oh, yes. Happy days. Happy days. Looking forward to seeing Carnegie Mellon. There you go. And then we have Camlon and District, followed by Stockbridge. Yes. Air Pipe Band Society. Ballybowly, Wollaston and District, Lower Clyde Pipes and Drums, the Scottish Borders, and the Royal Army of Oman. Yes, there you go. I know it's a very exciting grade, that. And that's only Heat 1. Looking at Heat 2 then, we have the Stockholm Pipe Band from Sweden. I don't know much about them, actually, to be honest. Right, that's another name I'm writing down. Stockholm Pipe Band. I will look them up. We also have the Avon and District. Stuff that Rab got wrong. The Avon and District Pipe Band from France. They were another name I'm writing down. I'm going to do my homework here. And we have Rothsay and District. Yes, we have Mid Argyll, Tweedvale, Surla and District, Drumloch, Kilbarkin, the Cleland Memorial, William Kerr Memorial, Upper Crossgar, and the City of Manchester. Whew, yikes. Now that's a tough heat right there. Oh boy. Okay. Looking at Heat 1 and Heat 2, do I have a preference? Which one do I think will be the most tough one? Genuinely, I think Heat 2. But I don't know. You guys can disagree. There's a lot of big names in Heat 2 right there, you know. Yikes. I don't know. 24 bands, though, in total in 3B. That's quite healthy right there. But, yeah, good luck to anyone in those Heat stages in 3B. All right, moving on. Grade 3A. How many heats have we got? 1, 2... 2 heats again. Okay, fair enough. I was hoping for 3, but no, it seems to be an even split of 2 for most grades now. Okay. Let's start with heat number 1 for 3A. We have Methylene District. Yes. Burnt Island and District. Kildogue. Yes. Major Sinclair Memorial. We have the Drum Score Veterans Pipes and Drums. Yes. Now, this is the band that's been formed from the Drum Score podcast. Yeah, those of you might not be aware of this. There is a little podcast out there, that a lot of people are huge fans of, myself included, called The Drum Score. And they set themselves a challenge of creating a pipe band from scratch and attending the Worlds. And here they are. Yeah, the Drum Score Veterans, Drums and Pipes. There you are. So I don't know why it's drums and pipes particularly. I think it's because the podcast is for drummers, made by drummers, called the Drum Score after all, so they've kind of reversed it. So it's the Drum Score Veterans, Drums and Pipes. I think I might have said that wrong earlier, but there you go. So if the rap got wrong. And indeed, but yeah, looking forward to seeing the Drum Score. Yeah, this is an interesting experiment, this. It's been across on pipesdrums.com. There's been a few different stories published about this, about how this podcast has established this competitive band. So, hi, good luck in the circle, folks. There'll be a lot of people watching and supporting, no doubt. So yeah, have a good tune. We also have the Clockfin Pipe Band, yes, followed by Matt Boyd Memorial. The City of Inverness are in the mix there. We have Dunbar RBL, City of London, Uddingston Strathclyde, the City of Discovery, and the 35 Club Pipe Band from France. Ooh, now, yes, yeah, that's a big name in there. If you haven't heard any of the music from the 35 Club, go and check them out. Ooh, boy. All right, we also have the Commonwealth Pipes and Drums from the United States. Yes, now I've been hearing various stories about the Commonwealth Pipes and Drums. Now, all about their origin and their membership and how it's made up and everything. Very curious story, that, and I do hope to hear more detail about that. And, we'll possibly do another Meet the Band, I think. The Commonwealth Pipes and Drums from the US. Good stuff. We also have Pitlochry and Blair Athol Pipe Band in there, so that's your 15 for Heat 1. That's quite an interesting group, that. Yeah, with a couple of bands that haven't seen daylight before, including that Drum Score band. Yeah, I'm very excited there. That's good stuff. That's a real competitive grade right there. Moving on then, Heat 2 in 3A. Yeah, we have the Irvine Memorial, followed by Johnstone. Then we have Collabacky, Lewis. There you are. We have Mulgai, the McCalls, Mackenzie Caledonia. We have Arbroath, the City of Stirling Pipe Band, Clocker and District. Yeah, we have Texo, D-Side Caledonia, McNeilstown, Ronced Moore from France. There's a lot of bands from France entered this year, isn't there? Here you are. We have Macanta, yes, the Livingston Caledonia Pipe Band, and Canterbury Caledonian Society Pipe Band. They're a grade 3 band. Excellent stuff. So, again, who am I going to pick as being the most competitive group there? I don't know. Genuinely in this one. I know people get off the fence, Rab. I don't know. That's tough there. Do you know, I've made some notes here and some bands that I want to listen back to, like the Commonwealth Band, and others here. I'm making notes as I go here. That Ronced Moore band from France, I don't know much about them, so I'm going to have to do my research there. But I do believe this is because of what's happening with the, what do you call it? The Lorient Festival. Yeah, I believe the dates this year, normally the Worlds and the Lorient Festival run at the same time, but there was a lot of cancellations with regards to the competitive piping end this year, and they won't be having any of that Breton competitive band stuff happening this year at the Lorient Festival. We spoke about this at a previous podcast, and what we thought might happen does seem to be happening, where a lot of these French bands are now going to be attending the Worlds to duke it out. So, that's fantastic to see them in the mix here. So I'm excited to see what they're going to bring to the circle. Yeah. All right. So that's your grade 3A. Let's move on to the ridiculous grade, shall we? Now this year, it's an interesting mix for the ridiculous grade because they do have to play twice. Yeah. For grade 2, you have to produce an MSR performance and a medley, and it's going to be, very competitive. Let's go into the details. We've got 21 bands. 21 bands. Wow. Okay. That's massive. So that was very close to having to break it into 2 groups there, wasn't it? I think it was just on the edge there. I think the cutoff is 24, isn't it? But so 21 there. There you go. All right, let's go through it. We have Buck and Peterson kicking things off at 9 o'clock in the morning. Oh, that's an early start. Then we have the Royal Borough of Annan, followed by the Vale, Bucksburn District, Denny and Donnypace, Cascadia, I don't know, whatever way you want to pronounce it there. The Cascadia Pipe Band. We have Oban, again. Yes, newly upgraded. Looking forward to them. We have Uddingston in the mix. Yes. We have Grampian Police, Scotland. There you go. We have the Ulster Scottish. Yes. Oh, yes, that's exciting. Okay, really exciting to see them. We have the City of Edinburgh. Good stuff. We have North Stratton making the trip across from Canada. Go on, the North Stratton. Yoo-hoo. Good stuff. Oh, man, I'm loving this. Then we have LA Scots in there. Oh, the LA Scots, boy. Then we have Tully Lagan. Go on, the Lagan. Yep. And we have Manor Cunningham, of course, All-Ireland champions. Then we have Peel Regional Police from Canada. Then we have the Brig Pipe Band from France. Oh, man, can they play a tune. Oh, shout out to the Brig. I'm a huge fan. Love that band. All right. We have St. Joseph's, Clondalkin in there afterwards. We have the Glasgow Sky Association, the City of Dunedin, and Colburn IOR. And that's your MSR competition. Wow. Okay. And they hold the same order then for the medley competition later on that day. Where do you even begin with trying to pick a possible top 6 in that? I have no idea. But there's a lot of huge names in there, folks. The ridiculous grade does live up to its title, doesn't it? Genuinely, it does. So, good luck to everyone in grade 2. I'm not even going to attempt to call it at this point, all right? It's flip a coin. But, yes, we will be getting into all of that, of course, in our World's Prediction podcast, which will be happening later this year. So, you want to keep an ear out for that. Now, looking at the draw and everything for the Saturday in grade 1... yeah, the grade 1 starts a little bit later in the day on the Saturday, kicking things off at 11:15 a.m. So our grade 1 big guns have a little chance for a lay-in the morning. You know, sip a cappuccino by the sunrise, watching everybody else sweating in grade 4B, etc. Trying to thump out tunes while they, watch the world go by, read the newspaper, as I say, sip a cappuccino, chew on a croissant or whatever. And then, will we play some tunes, folks? Yes, let's. Anyway, I'm joking, of course. All right, kicking things off at 11:15 in the morning, and grade 1 on the MSR, we have Closs Celts, followed by the 78th Fraser Highlanders. And then we have People's Ford, Bogle and Bathgate, St. Lawrence Tool, Inverary, Ravara, the Field Marshal, St. Thomas Alumni in USA. We have Scottish Power. We have SFU Pipe Bands. Yes, Manawatu Scottish, followed by Shots. Then we have Police Scotland Fife, and rounding things off in the grade is Johnstone. Yes, there you are. So 14 bands in total, duking it out over the course of 2 days. That's going to be interesting right there. There you go. So, folks, I'm not going to sit and read the entire list of drum majors. There is a lot of them. Looking at our adult drum majors in particular, there is going to be 6 heats for our adult drum majors. Whew. Yeah, it's going to be 4 heats for our juniors and 3 heats for our juveniles. But yeah, 6 heats of adult drum majors. Yikes. So if you get through all of that and manage to make your way through to the final, yeah, I think that's as good as a win right there, folks. Yeah, good luck to all of our drum majors. So I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on this year's Worlds. Clearly, the Friday is a very interesting talking point right there. Obviously, I kind of unpacked it live in front of you folks right there, and my initial feelings was, wow, these times are really late. Why is that? And then, of course, through the process of elimination, my brain decided to wake up and go, well, yeah, okay, I kind of understand it now that a lot of their pipe majors will be in competition that morning. Yeah, so perhaps that's why the draw times and all of that were made at that time to kind of suit their competitive pipe majors. There you are. However, you are keeping a lot of school kids on the grass until 7 p.m. that night blowing bagpipes. So, Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, that one. Yeah, I believe this is the first time we're attempting this and we're trying this. So, yeah, I'm hopeful. I do hope it works. But, yeah, the World Youth Championships, as they called it, don't know. We asked a lot of questions about this whenever it was first announced. And, yeah, we didn't get any answers back, unfortunately. But it is what it is now. It's up there now. You can go and read at it. rspba.org. It's there. Every single detail. Every band and their playing time and where they're from. And you can all go and draw your own conclusions. Thank you for joining me on my own live reaction here. That was a bit of fun. And you get to go through it with me here, live, I guess. So, genuinely, that was not prepared. I had no clue. But, yeah, whenever you consider that Novice Juvenile A starts at 5:20 in the evening, yeah, that's late. That's late. Anyway, that's my opinions. You can disagree, and yeah, let me know any stuff that Rab got wrong. There's bound to be at least a dozen names in there that I mispronounced, and if I did not do it intentionally. It's just done mistakenly. It's just me. So there you go. The draw for the Worlds, and yeah, over 200 bands entered. It's very healthy enter. For this one. Yeah, it's great to see so many bands in the mix there, for sure. And a lot of international bands there, too. Ones from France, Australia, Zimbabwe, New Zealand, Canada. Oh, come on. Yeah, the United States, obviously, as well. Got so many bands in the mix here. It's going to be a very exciting weekend of competition, for sure. If a little interesting on the Friday, I'll say that. All right. That's it. We'll move on. I think at this point in the show, you've waited long enough to hear all of my thoughts and opinions on this year's All-Ireland Championships. And I've got a lot to talk about. Anyway, so I think it's time for me to finally go and get myself a big cup of tea. It's time for the topic of the week.
Ready to take your playing to the next level? Say hello to the ES Session Chanter, the ultimate practice chanter designed for versatility and durability. Crafted from stainless steel and aluminium, the chanter comes equipped for both an A stem and a B flat stem, giving you the freedom to play along with any instrument, anytime, anywhere. Whether at a band practice or a trad session, the ES Session Chanter keeps pace with your creativity. Included with the chanter is the custom carbon carry case, the perfect addition to this compact and tactile instrument. To get yours, head to essessionchanter.co.uk. Kingdom Thistle Pipe Band Supplies for all your pipe band and marching band needs. Supplying everything from uniforms and instruments to custom-designed bass drum heads. They offer it all. Not forgetting their exclusive Kingdom Ghillie Brogues and George Boots, crafted by bands for bands. Kingdom Thistle provides expert product advice and an industry-leading drum refurbishment service to keep your equipment in top-class condition. Also shipping worldwide. So stop by their store in Fife or visit them online at kingdomthistle.com for all your pipe band and marching needs.
Hello, this is Fred Morrison and you're listening to the Big Rab Show.
Okay, let's get into this week's topic of the week. I think you've waited long enough to hear all of my thoughts and feelings about the All-Ireland Championships this past weekend in Ebrington Square. Yeah, this was such an amazing competition, but it wasn't without its problems, and we'll have to get into all of that, of course. Now, as you might have heard, our weekly drone at the beginning of the show, yeah, that's a subject in itself, and possibly one that we will tackle in a future topic of the week, but that's not for this week's show. Right now, we want to talk all about the All-Irelands, and we need to start with the results. So, in case you've been living under a stone, here's the results from the All-Ireland Championships. We'll run through them here very briefly, okay? So let's start with our drum majors. Yeah, starting with our novice grade. All-Ireland champion for 2025, Holly Gracie from Clougharan District. In second place was Charlotte Adamson from Major Sinclair. Well done. In third place was Grace Campbell. And in fourth was Heidi Putz. There you are, that was your novice grade. On to our juniors. All-Ireland champion for 2025 was Georgia Turkington from the Matt Boyd. Yes, and that was an M&D preference. In second place was Lydia Todd from McNeilstown. Well done. And in third place was Molly Bell from McDonald Memorial. Yes, in fourth place then was Willow Rose Elliott. There you are. That was your juniors. Moving on to juvenile. All-Ireland champion for 2025 was Louise Smighton from Closkelt. There you are. In second place was Ben Dixon from Drumlock. Yes, and in third was Carries Graham from Down Academy, and in fourth was Jamie Lee Wilson from Breedy Ulster Scots. There you are. Moving on to our adult grade then. Yes, winner on the day and All-Ireland champion for 2025, Charlotte Ruddock from Battle Hill. Charlotte's having a great season this year. Picking up an All-Ireland title. Well done, Charlotte. In second place was Kathy Hunter from Manor Cunningham. Go on, Kathy. Great result. In third place there we have Lewis Anderson from New Rossin District, and that was an M&D preference. And in fourth place was Emma Barr from the Field Marshal Montgomery, and that was an M&D preference as well. There you are. So that was your drum majors. Now, there was a lot of commentary on the drum majoring competition, particularly about their arena. Yeah, they did have to commandeer Arena 2. In the morning, Arena 1 and Arena 2 were both active. Yes, Arena 2 hosted Grade 4B, whereas, Arena 1 got things going with Grade 4A. And, two arenas were going ding-dust at a time. And then, all of a sudden, Arena 2 was just kind of abandoned and then transformed into a drum majoring arena. Now, this presented all sorts of different problems for our drum majors. Normally, what would happen in the morning is that our drum majors would arrive early, get their dress competition, and then be able to have a few kind of practice runs, be able to warm up on the day, be able to get, their lengths in, as they call them, be able to stride up and down the drum major arena and kind of get a lay for the land and a feeling for how the competition's going to do that day. Well, our drum majors didn't get that opportunity this year because the arena that they would have practiced in or warmed up in was filled with bands from 4B. So they couldn't really. And it was all a case whenever Grade 4B was finished, right, let's get the drum majors on. Let's move the barriers, change things around. Hey-oh, presto, change-o, let's get the drum majors going. And there was some commentary about that, about the sharing of arenas. It was a complex issue, and some people thought it worked well, and some people not so much. But I think overall, the competition from the drum majoring action honestly was second to none. Now, there was quite some challenging conditions. It was quite windy and blustery on the day, and drum majors had to cope with that. And where Arena 2 was actually closer to the water's edge than Arena 1. And as a result, being close to that water's edge, then, they were really open to the elements there, where the wind just came whipping off the water. And, it was, difficult for some. So, it's one of those challenges, I guess, the conditions on the day of a competition. But, that was some of the commentary we received about our drum majoring competition, that it could have been, I don't know, potentially moved to a different place, but as to where that could have been, don't know. We'll talk more about the venue and that and the layout of it all in a minute or two. But we're still delving through our results, aren't we? So let's get into Grade 4B then, the bands that we were just chatting about there. Well, 2025 Grade 4B All-Ireland champions, Carrigaline. Yes, now I don't remember who the name of the emailer was, but they did tell me to learn how to pronounce this band's name correctly because they feel it would be a name that I'm reading out a lot more often this season. And here I am, Carrigaline, I'm reading them out again. That emailer was 100% right. Yeah. Not only did they pick up the top spot, but they also lifted the drumming as well. And they had a fantastic run that day. So shout out to Carrigaline. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. All Ireland champions. Well deserved, In second place on ensemble preference was Y'all. Yes, and I'm pronouncing your name correctly again this time. See, yes, I'm learning. See, when there's stuff that Rab got wrong, I'm very happy to fix it. There you go. Now, Carrigaline on ensemble preference, that pulled them into the second spot. In third place was the Riverside Alliance Pipe Band. Now, they had an absolutely smashing run. Now, if you didn't hear them, you should really go and check out some of the videos of their performances. They're up there now on socials. Very, very, very strong. If anything, I know very little about this band, actually, and I would love to learn more. So if anyone does have any information on the Riverside Alliance Pipe Band, please send it my way. Yeah, 2 firsts in piping. Quite a convincing 3rd place win there for the band. So, yeah, well done to Riverside. And I'm very keen to hear more from them. Yeah. In 4th place then was Letterkenny on District. Now, I was particularly impressed with Letterkenny on the day, actually. Heard them outside the circle. They were going very strong, actually. Yeah, so shout out to Letterkenny. Yeah, in 5th place then, an ensemble preference was the City of Limerick. There you go. Yeah. Now, people were asking, of course, was Big Rab in the circle this weekend? Yeah, it was. Yeah, Tullylagan Pipe Band. We finished up in 9th place overall, so kind of middle of the pack out of a possible 15. So an extremely competitive grade. Yeah. Now, at the Tullylagan Band, I thought we done okay. We were quite happy with that, steady enough, I guess. But hey, live to fight another day. It's one of those things, constantly improving. That's what you're aiming for. But yeah, a very competitive grade. Other bands in 4B I do want to shout out this week is Clonoe Independent. I believe this is the first time we've seen Clonoe Independent in the circle in a long time. And I was actually quite impressed with their drum corps as well. We finished 6th overall out of a possible 15. Quite a good run there from Clonoe. Brilliant to see them back in that circle again. And yeah, hopeful to hear more tunes from them in the future. Another band that really drew attention on the day were the Middletown Police Benefit Association pipe bands. Now, I do remember speaking about this as we were leading up to the All-Ireland, saying that I knew nothing about them, and for good reason. As it turns out, the Middletown Police Benefit Association pipe band have never competed before, and this was their very first appearance in the circle. And yeah, I think the thing that drew everybody's attention to them is that they were the band on the day that played those rope tension snare drums, and you could hear them all over the park. It was really striking, and in a good way. Honestly, I was really intrigued to the style of drumming. The style of drumming here was not Scottish pipe band snare drumming. This was like a American sort of marching band kind of cadence drumming, and it was really interesting. And we do have a video, actually, of the Middletown Police Benefit Association pipe band up there now on our YouTube channel. Very, very interesting. Go and watch it. It's really curious. Actually, if anything, they don't stick to the one-time signature. We do believe that they change. That could be stuff that Rab got wrong. They definitely do change tempo, or indeed that word again, cadence as well. It's very interesting music. Yeah, so I think at this point I'll maybe play a little clip of them, because they honestly were kind of the talk of the town on the day. They were definitely a very interesting band. And let's hear a wee clip of them, shall we? There you are. That was a little clip there of the Middletown Police Benefit Association with Pipe Major Kenneth Barber. Now, whether they will be continuing to compete, we don't know. I did manage to get chatting to quite a number out of the band, and honestly, they were kind of blown away by the whole thing. Was the impression I got, is that, the opportunity to be up close and personal with a lot of the bands that they've only ever seen on YouTube and stuff, and to actually be in the circle and competing, it's quite a big moment for the band. So they were all really chuffed to be there, and were really enjoying their time touring the whole island. But yeah, being in that competitive circle was a first for the band, and I really hope to hear more from them. And yeah, I'm very curious to hear more of that drumming, actually. So I am going to go and delve down through the archives to see if I can find more recordings of them. It's a very interesting approach to the music, isn't it? Yeah. Now, please tell me if this is stuff that Rab got wrong, but is that like American marching style, like rope snare drumming, or just what is that? It's very interesting to me. Anyway, but yeah, just wanted to give them a particular shout out this week. Shout out to the Middletown Police Benefit Association. I think they had the best time there in the Maiden City, and yeah, it was brilliant to see them in the circle. Good stuff. Moving on. Let's look at Grade 4A then. Winners on the day. I have to say, they were very chuffed with the result as well. The celebrations, I think, are still going today. Yeah, shout out to the Black Raven Pipe Band. Grade 4A All-Ireland champions. Well done. Yeah, they done so with lifting the drumming as well. Also first in ensemble, first in piping, and a second in piping. So, yeah, not a bad weekend's work all round. Yeah, well done, the Black Raven. In second place was the Altnavay Memorial Pipe Band. Yes, well done, Altnavay. In third place was Thiepville Memorial. Yes, and in fourth was Raffo Ulster Scots. There you are. So yeah, that grade on the day, grade 4A, they didn't make it easy for the judges. For those of you who went back and listened to it, yeah, I can see why Black Raven and Altnavay Memorial actually split the piping prize on the day. It's a very close call. Both bands really did play a good tune. So, yeah, it's a difficult one, that. And, yeah, they split the judges on that one. But, yeah, shout out to Black Raven. Certainly deserved the win. Well done to everyone there. Come on, the Black Raven. Good to see you there, folks. All-Ireland champions. Brilliant. And as I say, I think the celebrations are still going today. There you go. All right, moving on to Grade 3B then. All-Ireland champions, Surla District. Yes, with ones right across the board. Oh, my word. If you haven't seen the run from Surla, woo, yes, they absolutely blew my socks off. They were absolutely fantastic. And you know what? They're quite a young band as well. Yeah, a lot of youngsters in that band that are really thumping a big tune at the minute. So that really is a testament to all of the hard work that's going on behind the scenes there at Surla. So much tuition and classes and endless practice. Yeah, shout out to Surla. Just, yeah, what a fantastic run at the All-Irelands. The band really found form that day. If you haven't listened to it yet, please do. Go and check it out. The video should be up there now on the Rab Show YouTube channel. It's definitely worthy a listen of your time. There you are. In second place, a pretty close second actually, were Drumlock. Yes, I really enjoyed Drumlock's drum corps on the All-Irelands. Had a real good run there. So, yeah, they came second on ensemble preference. So, yeah, shout out to Drumlock. In third place was Upper Cross Gar. Yes, another great run there with a second in piping, actually. Yeah. And in fourth place was the William Kerr Memorial. There you are. So that was your top four. And grade 3B, pretty small grade on the day, I have to say. Yeah, with 5 bands in there in total. But honestly, pretty tight grade by all accounts. And yeah, go and check out the run by Surla. That band are absolutely singing at the minute, so go and check them out. All right, that's my recommendation. Moving on to grade 3A, and All-Ireland champions in 3A, Irvine Memorial. Yes, what a day they had, man, honestly. But yeah, great run from Irvine, and yeah, deserved champions. But the grade, results-wise, was a bit of a mixed bag. It seemed to be quite a difficult day for the judges on this one, so we'll get into all the splits and stuff later on. But yeah, there has been some differences of opinions here for the judges in grade 3A. That's a talking point. Moving on to second place then was the Matt Boyd Memorial. Again, thumping a big tune at the All-Irelands. Really impressed with their sound, man. As soon as they struck in that introduction E, whew, man, it just hit you like a wall. It was brilliant. So, yeah, shout out to Matt Boyd. In third place then was Clough Finn. Again, absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed it. I'm really enjoying Clough Finn's music this year. And in fourth place then was the Major Sinclair. Go on, the Sinclair! Honestly, the pipe corps played a blinder, and ensemble-wise and drumming-wise, I just thought the band was clicking. Very, very tough grade. And in fifth place, an ensemble preference were Clocker and District. Yeah. In sixth place then were McNeilstown. And the reason I'm mentioning them as well, they were in sixth place in ensemble preference, but they lifted the drumming on the day. Yeah. Shout out to McNeilstown. All-Ireland Drum Corps champions in 3A. Great stuff. So, visitors on the day, Uddingston Strathclyde, unfortunately finished up in bottom of the heap. Unfortunately, not a great day at the office for them. But hey, that's bands. But an extremely competitive grade in 3A, I have to say. So, yeah, let's talk about some of those splits, shall we? Now, as much as we mentioned McNeilstown winning the drumming, they actually had a sixth in ensemble. So, a bit of a difference of opinion there between the ensemble judge and the drumming judge. Yeah, and also looking at the Irvine Memorial, our first place finisher, one piping judge had them first, and the other piping judge had them fifth. Yeah, and so again, we're seeing lots of differences of opinions here. Now, I must stress, again, we're not in that circle, and we're not there with the clipboard. We didn't know what that judge actually heard, and why, yeah, they marked them accordingly. So, yeah, you can draw your own conclusions from that one. And that goes for the drumming ensemble and both piping judges. So, yeah, I'm putting in that disclaimer. Yeah. But at grade 3A, an extremely competitive grade by the looks of things. And they didn't make it easy for the judges. And I love that. Yeah, brilliant stuff in 3A. And well done to the Irvine Memorial. Fantastic. And winning the piping on the day actually was split by the Matt Boyd and the Major Sinclair. There you go. So, yeah, just wanted to give them both a shout out there who split the piping. All right, let's move on to grade 2. Only 3 bands in here, but, yeah, there was a lot of great music to enjoy in here. So, yeah, shout out to grade 2 All-Ireland champions, Manor Cunningham. Yeah! Go on, the Manor. Yeah. What a great day at the office for Manor Cunningham. With 2 firsts in piping, a first in ensemble, that was enough to pull them into the top spot then and, yeah, lift the All-Ireland win. In second place was St. Joseph's Clondalkin. Yeah, he really thumped a good tune, to be fair. Yeah, really enjoyed the music there from St. Joseph's. And in third place then was Tullylagan. However, Tullylagan also managed to lift the drumming on the day. So, yeah, All-Ireland Drum Corps champions, Tullylagan. Oh, and they also lifted the best bass section as well. Not bad. Well done, Tullylagan. There you are. So, piping on the day went to Manor. Yes. Honestly, looking at the celebrations and what it meant to everybody there at Manor Cunningham to lift that All-Ireland title was so heartwarming, and it was just fantastic to see. So, yeah, well done to everyone there at Manor Cunningham who really did thump a big tune, and, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed watching Grade 2 this year. It was just such a good competition. If anything, the spectators that were around me whenever I was filming, after each band, you know, whenever I switched the camera off, you know, that's when people normally start talking again, when I switch the camera off now. So switch the camera off, and after each band, everyone was like, well, Rab, what do you think? Well, and I couldn't make up my mind. I genuinely didn't know who could lift that top spot. It was anybody's. So, yeah, well done to all 3 bands in that grade 2 circle. It has honestly lived up to its title of the ridiculous grade. I think it's definitely fair to call it that this year. It is the ridiculous grade. But so, yeah, well done to Manor and to Tullylagan lifting the drumming as well. Go on, the Lagan. Yeah, there you go. And St. Joseph's as well, if you haven't heard their set too. Whew, there you go. All right, go and check out all that music. It's amazing. Grade 2 was very entertaining. All right, let's get into grade 1, shall we? And yes, of course, by now you've probably already seen the story that Field Marshal Montgomery stepped into the circle. They won the MSR. They won the medley, and they lifted the drumming. Pretty much, it was a clean sweep for the Field Marshal Montgomery. Yeah. Now, in second place, St. Lawrence O'Toole, in my opinion, genuinely also played a thumping good run this year, and I was really entertained by St. Lawrence, especially their medley selection, who genuinely did draw a smile to my face. I really enjoyed it. I don't know. It was one of those sets that, what do you call that when you get the goosebumpy things? That's like a chills moment kind of thing. You know, like, wow, that's amazing. Yeah, St. Lawrence done that for me at the weekend. I thought, what a set. It was just brilliant. Also, Closkelt as well, with that introduction that had everybody talking. Yeah, with the one opening roll and then straight into it. Very, very innovative stuff there from Closkelt, and really pushing boundaries too, musically. But, done with some subtlety as well in some places. very enjoyable, very complex too as well. I had to listen to it a few times now, but still a really good, entertaining set for sure. Also, I have to give a shout out to Kloss-Kelt's midsection, by the way. The tenor work that Kloss-Kelt are doing at the moment, that, more of that, please. Okay, Kloss-Kelt, that was brilliant. So also shout out to Ravara as well, who are not just phoning it in grade 1. You would think newly upgraded and stuff that they were just kind of there to pass the time. Oh no, Ravara are in there juking it out with the big guns. They're not making it easy at all. Yeah, they've been thumping some big tunes this year. And Ravara, wow. Yeah, fantastic. So, folks, my thoughts overall for grade 1, clearly the highlight of the weekend has to be that Field Marshal medley that they have been looking forward to unveiling now for ages. And, yeah, they've been teasing it on their socials now for the longest time. And, yeah, this past weekend they unveiled it. It was called, well, I think the unofficial title for it, it's called the Tribute Medley. Yeah, the 2025 Tribute Medley, where they do delve back through the archives and play some Field Marshal Montgomery greatest hits. Yeah, you know, well, they look back through all their old bag of tricks and they bring out all of these old favorites and, yeah, bring them all back to life again. Genuinely, I was smiling from start to finish. It was so entertaining. You know, hearing tunes back, oh, I remember that. Oh, they're playing it. Oh, wow. But then they switch it up on you. Just when you think you know the tune, you know where it's going, then presto changeo, here you go, here's another little flurry, a whole big extra pile of stuff. Like, oh man, if you haven't heard the set from Field Marshal yet, I don't know where you've been. I think pretty much everyone in the bagpiping world has seen it now and heard it now as well and experienced it. It is something else. Yeah, and to be in that crowd, seeing that happen right in front of you, I am not often lost for words, apart from whenever I go to the Worlds and I'm walking around the park and I keep getting slapped in the face with tone. That happens every year. But this year at the All-Irelands, again, one of those things, whenever I had to switch the camera off and everyone around me was like, well, Rob, what'd you think? What'd you think? I don't know why everyone's mad to hear my opinions. But genuinely, I didn't have any words. I was like, I can't speak right now. I was just absolutely floored by it. You know, it was one of those moments. And I can't explain it. If you haven't seen the videos and recordings of it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Field Marshal were just on fire. And wow. So well done. All-Ireland champions, Field Marshal Montgomery. Yeah, what a great run for you guys. Now, honestly, that's not to discount all of the other bands I've just mentioned. Like we said, St. Lawrence O'Toole's medley selection in particular was, that was special right there. And again, midsection work with big rolls and the tenor work, very strong stuff there. And even like the, you know, playing with the butt of the sticks and stuff towards the end of the set, that was brilliant. You know, it almost added like we were talking about them earlier, you know, that rope drum, it kind of added that kind of flavor to the set, didn't it? It kind of gave it that bit of a feeling. Genuinely very interesting stuff from St. Lawrence. Again, pushing boundaries. But man, was it enjoyable. All bands in there. All four in grade 1 at the All-Irelands really did thump out a big tune. And yeah, thoroughly enjoyable. Yeah. So, of course, again, congratulations to the All-Ireland champions, Field Marshal Montgomery. Yeah. All right. Let's get into what everyone wants to talk about, away from results and all that stuff. We have to talk about the venue itself. I think pretty much the topic of the day was the venue. Everyone had an opinion on Ebrington Square. Now, what Ebrington Square is, basically, it's like an old army barracks kind of thing, and where the bands were competing were essentially a big parade ground. You know, where soldiers would march up and down and do all their soldiery stuff. Well, yeah, that's now all open to the public, and it's now kind of a public park. And yes, this was the venue now for the 78th All-Ireland Championships. And some people loved it because of the accessibility to the city. You know, you just had to, well, just walk over the Peace Bridge and, yeah, you were in the middle of the main shopping district of the town. Plus, you were in close proximity to all sorts of other businesses, you know, like restaurants and bars and things like that. So, yeah, pretty well connected that way. However, I think that's pretty much where the positives end. Yeah. I think we were talking earlier about having to reuse Arena 2 and convert that into a drum majoring arena. So, kind of give you a bit of an idea. The place itself was really quite compact. Yeah, this was a major championship in the Irish calendar, I guess, and we would have hoped for a larger venue. However, bands did seem to be quite piled on top of each other. They did establish what was kind of a pipe band village where bands were, told to set up their gazebos and all of that kind of stuff. And, bands were on top of each other in there, genuinely. And, whenever we were tuning up ourselves in Tullylagan, we couldn't hear ourselves. There was like 4 other bands tuning up around us, and there wasn't space. We couldn't actually tune up because, as I say, there was like 3 or 4 other bands all around us. We couldn't hear anything. So we had to walk out of the pipe band village, walk quite a distance, actually, to try and find some sort of spare ground so we could actually tune up and get ready. Yeah. Space was a premium at this, and that was definitely a topic on everyone's lips. And also, possibly one of the biggest topics was parking. Yes, that old chestnut. And it's quite important for a large event like this that you have somewhere to park your motor, or even for bands to bring coaches and stuff that, they can be confident in parking their coach and that bus won't move and it'll be there for the day. But then, of course, that in the evening, whenever you throw all your stuff back in the bus, that you'll not be sitting in a massive queue to get home, to get out of the car park with ease. And that's a difficult one, especially given where the venue was and where the parking was, which was, I don't want to say miles because it wasn't miles, but it was quite a distance away. It was at least a good 5-10 minute walk away, you know? So, granted, there was that word again, the shuttle bus. Everyone hates shuttle buses. I don't know. Yeah, shuttle buses are terrible. But yes, they put shuttle buses on for free, and that's something. So if you did park at the allocated parking, you could jump on a free bus that could wheel you into the venue. Brilliant. But yeah, I know people that just are not fans of shuttle buses at all, especially when you're like lugging a whole load of gear with you. You know, if you're carrying a couple of snare drums and a couple of harnesses, and you know, maybe you have a bag with you with your cape and everything and all that kind of stuff. You know, that lugging around a load of gear and then hopping on and off a bus, it's just more trouble than it's worth. I know myself personally, I actually walked from where I managed to park my motor, and again, still a considerable distance, I guess, from where I had to throw the motor to where the actual venue was. And I was carrying my pipes, all my recording gear, my bag with my cape and everything, and a couple of bottles of water, stuff like that. And it's a bit of a trek. So it was. So anyway, that's enough of me moaning. But that was one of the things that was kind of raised, I guess, when people were talking about the venue, going, why did they have it down here? Because we kind of walked past a venue that it used to be held in. The last time that was a big championships held in Derry, London Derry, I think it was the Ulster Championships, and they were held in a place called St. Colum's Park. Now, that was one giant big park area where everything was self-enclosed. Yeah, and that included the parking, the vendors, the band parking, all of it was in one place. Whereas with this allocation in Ebrington Square, it was kind of a little bit here, a little bit there, and it was a little bit, confusing, I guess. But I have to say, though, full credit to the bands, the stewards, and to the JAC, which is the Joint Association Committee. They were given the venue, and they absolutely made that venue work perfectly. Yes, I'm going to be controversial. People are going to disagree with me, but I genuinely think that this year's All-Ireland Championships was fantastic. Yeah. As much as we're moaning about the venue and the parking and how small it was and all that kind of stuff, genuinely I think that, the piping folk who were put in this situation, they made it work. The competition ran like absolute clockwork. I don't believe there was any delays at all. The final tuning areas certainly seemed to work very well. There was no bands playing on top of each other, which was always a problem at previous competitions. This one, not so much. Didn't happen at all. Stewards just had, the best time getting bands there, on the line, on time. And there was no issues. It was fantastic. So, yeah, I don't know. As much as we see negative and positive, I think overall my overall feeling of the event itself was largely positive. And seeing the buy-in from, the executive office and like all of these bigwigs who really love to see the All-Irelands coming, that was brilliant to see. Also, we need to talk about the fringe events that ran all week long on the run-up to this, which honestly were a roaring success, and well done to all of the bands that were involved in that. And the soloists as well, who carried out all sorts of solo work and impromptu kind of performances throughout the city, and also the workshops and things. Just brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. What a way to advertise piping and drumming all week long in the run-up to one of the biggest competitions in this side of the Irish Sea. It was so, so good. So, yeah, a lot of positives to take from that. But, yeah, some negatives. Okay. All right. We all love a good moan and drum. But there you go. That's my thoughts and opinions all written down and splurged out on a podcast. And you guys can agree or disagree with me. Yeah. You can email me in bigrabshow@gmail.com, or, of course, send us in your weekly drones and let us know what you think of the All-Ireland Championships this year. Yeah. Also, don't forget that the RSPBA Northern Ireland branch are actually actively looking your opinions on this. If you were at the event yourself, then please do go over there to the rspbani.org, where they do have links and everything to a survey for attendees. So if you're there as a competitor, a spectator, or otherwise, they want to know your thoughts on how the event went. So go and check that out and give your own thoughts and opinions on that, and it can honestly help shape the future of future competitions here. Yeah. All right. So the All-Ireland Championships are behind us. And this weekend, it's the 12th of July. And for a lot of pipers and drummers in this side of the Irish Sea, they'll be involved in all sorts of 12th of July celebrations. But of course, we also have the UK Championships, as we were talking about earlier. And of course, like we mentioned before, that if you do want to go and catch all of the action from Edinburgh this weekend, then of course, make sure you're following us on all of our socials. Big Rab Show on Facebook will be live streaming the results and everything. But of course, we'll also be filming performances for our YouTube channel. So if you do want to catch some of the action from the UK's this weekend, then do consider heading over there. And that's where all of that action will be. So if you are competing this weekend at the UK's, we want to wish you the very best of luck. The first major in the calendar. It's very exciting stuff. And we are looking forward to seeing how all the chips fall with the results and everything. Who will win our first major of the year? It's going to be very interesting, that, isn't it? And of course, yes, if you're not competing and you're out and about and playing with your band, wherever you are across the province here locally in Northern Ireland, then please do send us in your Big Rab Show selfies, and we'll definitely share them out on our socials. There you are. So, folks, a lot of piping and drumming to be at this weekend, and more in future, indeed. Yeah, we've got a lot more to get into. We're right in the thick of the season right now, and we're looking forward to getting into the rest of it. But, of course, do make sure that you are following us here on the podcast. If you haven't already, do click on that follow or subscribe button wherever you're listening right now, and you'll never miss an episode. Of course, subscribe on YouTube as well. That's important because that's where all of our videos will be. So if you do want to catch that action from Edinburgh, as we say, check it out on YouTube. And of course, we will be live streaming the results, as we've already mentioned. There you go. All right, folks, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thank you, everyone, for downloading this week. And each and every week. And again, don't forget to tell your mates about our wee show, about what we're doing over here, talking about what we know and love every single week. So, until next week's pod, folks, I will see you all then. All the best.
Well, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thanks so much for downloading this week. And a special thank you to our sponsor, G1 Reeds. Played by bands around the world, they are the champion's choice. Check out g1reeds.com for all of your piping needs. Don't forget to check out thebigrabshow.com to be kept up to date with all of the latest news and views from around the piping world. And also, check us out on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can get your hands on tons of extra piping goodness and be a part of the Patreon faithful. So, until next week, folks, we'll see you right here on the Big Rab Show Podcast. All the best.